a warm TFC welcome, Mr. Jack Wu.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Let's talk about success. Success, everybody defines success differently. At the end of it all, deep inside your heart, you want to achieve success. To some people, success might be just owning a nice car, Lamborghini. To some people could be, let me live in that dream house that I always dream about when I was a little kid. That could be success to you. To some people could be, you know what, one day I want to make enough money so I can travel around the world. That could be success to some of you. Hopefully one day some of you might get to a level where you can truly give back, whether it's with your time, whether it's with your knowledge, teaching people how to become successful, or ultimately, maybe you're blessed enough to give back the money that you earn. First, let me begin by saying money and success to me is not an entitlement. It's a blessing. Unfortunately, through 22 years being in the sales business, as an entrepreneur, I see a lot of people, when they get to a level where they start to make money or massive income, they started to think that it is all entitlement. I'm better than you. I'm greater than you. But in reality, everything that we have today is because you are blessed, whether it's with great health, maybe you're in an amazing relationship with somebody you're truly in love with, or maybe you are in a career that you have passion about and you're lucky, blessing enough to have that career, while most people are still searching today. Now, there is not a day that people don't ask me, how do you get to a level of success that you can generously donating money to different charities and giving away to people? That's what I want to talk about today. The only difference between me right now than most people out there, it could be to some of you right now, is one thing. I graduated from one level of success to another level and to another level. Today I want to talk about evolution of success. To me, the evolution of success has 4 stages. The first stage is survival. Second stage is recognition. Third stage is financial freedom. And the last stage, very few people can actually get to, is legacy. So let me begin by sharing with my little humble story. I came to the United States in 1986, all right? I came from Hong Kong, China, I came here. My dad was the one who got here much earlier than me, my brothers, and my mother. And we came to this country very, very happy because my dad used to work for a very, very large company in Greenbelt, Maryland, okay? And he was the chief engineer, and the name of the company is called NASA. And back then, 20 some odd years ago, my dad was making $80,000 a year. Life was amazing. Life was perfect. I never, ever thought that my career actually would turn out to be an entrepreneur and sales, because my dad was a scholar. He never ever wanted us to be in sales or as an entrepreneur. He wanted us to be an engineer like him. But unfortunately, one thing that I learned about in life is that bad things do happen to good people. Unfortunately, in 1989, 3 years after I reunited with my dad, or came to this country, he was diagnosed having liver cancer and passed away 90 days after the diagnosis. And after that, my mother, who never worked one day in her life after she came to the United States, had to come out and work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week to raise up 3 kids. I have 2 older brothers, okay? And that was the time my life completely shifted and changed. And that was the time I realized one thing, guys. Just because you believe in God, just because you're a good human being, just because you have spiritually very strong, does not mean bad thing is not going to happen to you. That was the time I came out and starting to look for different opportunities. My only goal back then was to make an additional $2,000 a month in anything that I can touch on. Whatever career, whatever business, whatever job. It's simply to support my mother. And I ran through many different opportunities, and finally at the age of 20 years old, through accident, all right? Through coincidence, I ran into the life insurance industry. I was invited to a seminar. I was sitting all the way back in a hotel called DoubleTree Hotel back in Maryland. I still remember the hotel. It was on Rockville Pike. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was a shy little kid, introverted, no confidence. I was sitting all the way in the back and listening to the speaker about finance, about insurance. At the end of that meeting, the only thing I got out of that, the whole entire meeting was two things. Number one, wow, life insurance. He mentioned about life insurance. Why every family need to have life insurance? I said, immediately I had a connection. I said, wow, that's pretty strong. That is something that my father never had. That's why we had to struggle after my dad passed away. And the second thing that I got out of the presentation is that I can make some good money. You know, I can make an additional few $1,000s a month while I was going to school. Cool. So I started the industry. I started a business at the age of 20 years old. And I passed my life insurance license at the age of 21 years old. So I was desperate. So people asking me, how do you get to a level where I can make multiple seven-figure income a year now? For me, it was easy, ladies and gentlemen. It was desperation. Remember this, in life, you're not going to change unless you have two things. Either inspiration or desperation. That's why people don't like to change. When I first started, I wasn't inspired about anything. It wasn't charity, I assure you that. I just donated, $36,000, close to that, Jerry, to help Filipinos. Just so you know, I'm not Filipino. I'm Chinese. I believe that, when you help people, it doesn't have boundaries. It shouldn't have boundaries. For me, when I'm donating money, it's about connections with a charity. What is the purpose of that? I don't care what nationality you're in. If I found a connection, I would love to help with my time, my knowledge, and ultimately with my money. So let me get back to what I was saying. I believe that most people don't change today is because they lack of either inspiration or desperation. For me, I was desperate. My only purpose back then was to make enough money part-time in the insurance business while I was going to school so I can retire my mother. And of course, with a lot of hard work, with a lot of commitment, failed my face off many, many times. Nobody wanted to listen to me at the age 21 years old selling life insurance. Imagine how difficult that is. But I always believe in one thing, my friends. When you have a will, you're going to find a way. It's not the how to do something. To me, it's always the why. If you can't figure out the why, you're not going to do anything. At least you're not going to do anything beyond your comfort zone, right? So I knew my why. My why was to retire my mother initially. It was survival, right? Evolution of success, the step number one was what? I was desperate. I want to survive. I don't want to be hungry. My father is no longer next to me. So I was working extremely hard, 15 hours a day. And eventually, after my first year in the insurance business, I made $150,000 at the age of 21 years old, selling life insurance, and nobody wanted to listen to a 21 years old guy to sell life insurance. And yet, I was making over $150,000. And people don't ask me, there's not a day, people don't ask me, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? You were only 21 years old. Let me explain to you, when I'm selling something, when I was selling life insurance, I was not selling the product only. I was selling love. I was sharing with people my story, why they need to have protection. If you pass away, what will happen to your kids? Because I use my real life example and people bought into my passion. They bought into my belief. So I am letting my audience to know today, everything in life is about sales. You're selling to your boss every day to get a raise. Your kids are selling to you why they need to be watching an extra 30 minutes of TV, right? As an entrepreneur like me, or decided and committed to be an entrepreneur one day, you have to sell to your people why should they own your products. Now, before you sell the products, you have to sell your belief. Do you really believe in what you do, or are you just doing for the money? So that was the first level of success. I got through the survival part. Life was pretty good, right? Then eventually I got to the second level of success, and that was recognition. I was in my company where it was a lot of different salespeople, like you guys have different colleagues, right? At the end, everybody have to show their value to your company. You want a raise, am I right? It's no difference than me working in a sales company than you working as either an employee or independent contractor, right? We all have to add value. So the second level of success for me was recognition. I want to stand out. I want to stand out among the peers, the people that I'm working with. because when I was a little kid, I had no confidence. My dad passed away. Not to even mention my personality was an introverted individual. So I wanted to stand out because I felt that was the moment I can shine. Because I finally found something that I'm passionate about. I finally found something that I can wake up in the morning, get excited about. And I knew at that moment that was my chance to stand out and get recognized. And everybody wanted to be loved. Everybody wanted to belong to a community. And I got into an environment where I can rise above and stand out, and I work 15 hours a day, nonstop, every single day. You know, I was running sales appointment, at least 5 to 6 on a daily basis, and back then there was no navigation system, okay? There was no cell phone. You know how I was drive. When I would go to an appointment, you know how I do it, right? I was with my brother, Rex. We were driving, and we have remember the map? Different county. Oh my God, we have to go to different counties and change different maps. And I was literally so tired that when the traffic light turned red, I had to close my eyes and I look at my brother and say, look, when the red light turned green, wake me up. There's no overnight success, okay? If you ever look at anybody who can get to the highest level of anything, remember, they work for it. People say, what is the magic bullet? There is no magic bullet. What is the magic pill? There is no magic blue pill. If I'm gonna give you one magic blue pill, and that is work. Work. So I spent 15 hours a day, and by the time I was 24 years old, I was making $250,000 income a year. Now remember, that's US dollars, okay? Not Filipino money, all right? Life was pretty good. But of course, along the way, I made a lot of stupid mistakes. All the money I made, from 21 to 24, I overspent. I bought stupid things. I spent my money recklessly, you know, and by the age of 24 years old, I ended up with about $70,000 in my credit card debt with no money in the bank account, less than a few $1,000s, okay? You know people like that makes a lot of money, but at the end they have nothing to show for? You're looking at one. Make those mistakes, all right? I was very blessed. That in my life I have few great mentors. I don't have a lot of mentors. I have few great ones. 3. One taught me how to sell. One taught me about principles. One taught me about strategies. Okay? I don't believe you should have 20 different mentors in life. I don't believe in that. Because when you learn from 20 different mentors, you get confused now. I believe in handpicking 1 or 2 good mentors, somebody you want to become, somebody you look up to, somebody you have connection with, somebody you share the same value. And if you find those 1 or 2 mentors, listen to what he or she telling you and do exactly what he or she telling you to do. And then eventually, the third level of success for human beings, and ultimately for me, was, you know, I want to help people. You know, money is good. And I knew deep inside my heart, you know, everybody talk about, I want to help my church. I want to help my communities. I want to help people around me. But the reality is that you can't help people until you got money, yes or no? Yes, let's be authentic, let's be practical. Everybody say they want to help everybody. How can you help everybody else if you're still living in a nightmare yourself? So I realized that I got to get to the third stage of success. Remember what that was? Financial freedom. Financial freedom for me is at least 7-figure. $1 million a year, at least. Because I knew if I had the money, I can do more. I can help more. Now, let me touch the subject on money a little bit so all of you have some clarity on the subject of money. Most people today, they are broke is because they feel, and they've been learning from people who preaching on this subject, money is the root of all evil. Money will make you a bad person. And that's what I've been taught up when I was a little kid by traditional adults, parenting and all that stuff. But I'm here to tell you that's absolutely nonsense. Money doesn't change who you are. Money only reveals who you already are. If you are a bad human being, bad person, if you're evil, If you're a manipulator with more money, you become worse. Agree? If you're already a good human being, which I hope and I feel that all of you are, with more money you can help more people, yes or no? I never changed. When I was a broke little kid, I was always giving. I was always generous because the value was taught by my mom and dad. With more money, I can help more entrepreneurs in the world. I can help more charities. I can donate more knowledge and time. To get to a financial freedom level, what do you have to do? Can you just work by yourself to make millions of dollars? That was the time I learned how to develop others, leaders in my company. That was the time I taught them my knowledge. If I can get somebody in my organization make $500,000, money is going to automatically come back to me in the long haul. It's about developing other people, their identities. Because nobody wants to build your kingdom forever. Is can you put your ego aside and helping other people to build their own kingdoms? And I eventually mastered that skill. It took me a long time. And I developed a lot of multiple 6 figures and 7 figures earners in my company. And eventually, I'm making multiple 7. It's automatic when you help people. But a lot of people, they don't want to do that. When they get to a level, they want to hide their knowledge. They want to shelter their little own success because they don't want you to be successful. But remember, if you want to get to the highest level of income of anything, focus your time on helping people. Now, the last level of success, which took me a long time to get to, guess what that was? Legacy. By the age I was 27 years old, I wish I was still 27, I made my first $1 million income. Okay? And then it went on from that point on. And I got a little bit bored. You know, when you get all the toys, I drive a Ferrari, I got a Lamborghini, all right? I travel lavishly in private jet, first class, and I can afford to eat a dinner that's, back then $1,000 is unreachable for dinner. So about 5 years ago, I was a little bit bored. And one night I woke up, it was 2 a.m. in the morning. And I went to my kitchen, I sat on the table and I say, what will get me fired up? Because I'm still very young. What will get me fired up to keep working for the next 10, 15, 20 years? That was the time I found my true purpose and legacy. So I wrote it down, all right? It's not money anymore. It's not about recognition anymore. Then I wrote down 2 things. The first thing was charity. If I can truly involve my time and money with charity, that will get me going because I want to help people. See, in life, if you don't write things down, it will never become a reality. If you never think about your goal, it will never become a reality. So I'm challenging all of you to believe in your dream, but not only believing in your dream, but most importantly, write down your goals. So I wrote down charity. Now, I never have Just Wish. Today, Just Wish, my charity, donated $35,000, close to $36,000 to build something pretty huge, right? But without written down that goal 5 years ago, this charity would never been formed. Because of that one moment, and I clearly did some soul searching, immediately my action changed. And now on the right-hand side of that piece of paper, I said, I want to help people who want to be entrepreneur one day, Annie. Because I help enough of my own people in my company, but how about develop my own network of channel to talk about entrepreneurial contents, stuff like this that nobody want to talk about or nobody know how to talk about. And that was time I formed my own production company. And JW Production was formed. And since then, I launched a lot of entrepreneurial contents on my Facebook and my website. And it took a little bit of time for people to know who I am and realize this guy's for real. He's not full of crap. He wanted to help us. He's not trying to make some money. And he's truly teaching me to be successful as well. So that's how my little journey from a little broke little kid and eventually elevated to a level where, I have my true purpose in life. And I hope my little short message with every single one of you today has enlightened you in some aspect. You know what I mean? I believe that life is a race to chase the ultimate version of you. That ultimate version of you do exist, but in the very near future. In order for you to do that, you have to figure out what success means to you. What does it mean to you? By the way, everything I talk about today, I'm not trying to change who you are, okay? I'm not asking to be me. Please, please, be you, all right? If success means that you want to spend time with your family Saturday and Sunday, see your kids, and you only work 9 to 5, and you make about $90,000 a year, and you want to donate 10% of your income to charity, that make you happy, do that. Do that, no problem. But if your success is right here, then your sacrifice will be more. If the way you define your success is legacy, then understand there's gonna be a lot of sacrifice. You're not gonna see your family all the time. I don't see my kids every day. I travel all the time, all right? With the amount of success I have, with a lot of supporters like you who's supporting me every day, it also attracts a lot of haters, a lot of criticism. These people don't even know me because they're jealous. They don't even know me. They shoot bullets at me every single day. But I know what I'm going after. I'm not going for goodness. I'm going for greatness. If you're going for greatness, you gotta be able to handle criticism. I hope my little message today to ABS CBN has been an enlightening one, because at the end of it all, you have to figure out what makes you happy. Don't ever let anybody tell you what makes you happy. What makes you happy, you figure that out. Because once you figure out who you want to be, what you want to be 5, 10 years down the road, then you go work for that. Dream does come true. If you're willing to work hard, if you surround yourself with the right people, and that's important, it's the power of association. And I always talk about on my videos, you know, your environment every day is more powerful than your own willpower. If you hang around with the wrong people who's negative, whose financial struggle, who complains every day, you will become part of them because you listen to that every day. Get out of that environment. Select the right group of people you want to hang out around with. And eventually you're going to attract few good mentors in your life. But when you attract those few great mentors, and if you find it, don't take things for granted. Until you find that mentor, I hope to be your mentor. All right, guys, with that, thank you for the time. Really, I appreciate it very much.